I'm not the only one that was ever roofied. I've talked to um, my friend that worked at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, talked to a criminal attorney in place. We all know those state rape amnesia drugs. You're sleepwalking. And they can call them mind controlling drugs. And we all know everything's digital. They can put your head on somebody else's body, hair, change your hair, your clothes, scenery. Okay? They can take words out of other sentences, tape over, make it look like you said something you didn't. Everything's digital. Nothing's been trustworthy for years. Okay? I have met during the last few years several people that were roofied by the cartel. I was at my storage unit first time to bring stuff there, and I didn't know what building to go into. And this girl was moving out, putting stuff in her car, and I said, "Could you help me?" And she was sweet enough to help me. And I said, "Well, it looks like you're moving." She said, "Well, yeah, I've had a boyfriend of 8 years." She said, "I found out he was cheating. He had came home from a strip club, punched me in my face, broke my nose. I called 911. He was arrested." She said, "I'm military and my dad's a U.S. Marshal. And he got a plea deal down to a fine. And I got $10,000 worth of damage in my nose. I can't believe he got away with it. Punching me in my sleep." She said, "I found out that he had been cheating on me for 2 years. That since then, I went to Jersey's bar. I took a drink and the room went dizzy and black, and I don't know what happened to me." I said, "Well, you're sleepwalking with those drugs. I know that." She said, "I waited a while, went to another bar. I took a drink out of a drink, same thing would happen. Room went dizzy and black." She said, "I ended up in the hospital. I don't even know how I got out of that bar. I'm moving out of this area for safety." My coworker, Dar, she had a set of twins. One had died at birth, and the other one, surviving twin, because she's sitting around crying over losing that one baby. Her friends got a babysitter for the surviving twin, took her out for a friend's night out. They're giving her some space at a bar. She ordered a drink, they said, and she took a drink and she acted a little happy. Nothing out of the usual. Group of people they didn't know came up and talked to her. They said that she left with them, but she was talking and acting fine. She found herself in a puddle pee outside. Didn't know how she got out of the bar. Got herself home. She was throwing up, really messed up. And she went to the doctor 2 months later. She found out she was pregnant again. She was arguing with the doctor, "I have not had sex with anyone." And she said, "It's not that I don't love my son, but I don't know what happened to me." My neighbor, Mike, he used to live on the end apartment. He came up to me one morning. I walked down my apartment. He said, "I got a problem. I don't know how I got home." Mike, go sleep it off. He's like, "You don't understand. I've been sitting there for hours." I said, "What do you remember?" He said, "The second beer." And I said, "Go sleep it off." He's like, "You don't understand. I got all this money in my pocket." I'm like, "Check your bank." He did what I told him to. He said, "Well, I took 100 out. That explains the money. But what was in the box with mustard, and how did I change my shoes?" He had lost the whole night. I'm like, "Go sleep it off." I'm like, "Oh my God, somebody's roofied him." He said, "I used to be a New York cop and you're pretty. You want to go cuddle?" I'm like, "Go sleep it off." I told him later on, he told me he was a New York police officer. He's like, "I don't remember saying that to you." He said, "I went down to that bar in the middle of the second beer. They said I started talking crazy, telling people I was an astronaut, um, nice to some, swore to others, and apparently took myself out all night." He could have ran somebody over and not remembered it. Just like where I took a drink out of a drink in the room, went dizzy and black. Hours later, I come out of it, I'd have bruises all over me, throwing up, almost passing out, and personally infected, and severely infected. Going to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? I got all these bruises all over me. Did you fall? No. Maybe you're coming anemic. Give me iron pills and muscle relaxants. My head's killing me. I've been throwing up. We'll get you something for that. I said the well water's dirty that I shower in. My personal area is so swollen I can't hardly pee. Had to give me pills and creams. All the signs of being drugged, being raped, and nobody thought of a rapist. I talked to a nurse about it. She said, we all know rapists do this, and they prey on people in their homes, but we try to think it's like the well water or a virus. We don't want to leap and jump that it's a rapist. They need to leave. They also, see, that's where I've talked to the police. I've talked to my friend that was at the prosecutor's office. I have talked to a criminal attorney. You're sleepwalking with those drugs. On Google, there's over 20 prescription drugs in high doses will make you sleepwalk without the legal ones. In August of 19, I started Ohio Catholic Bank. I went upstairs and the manager was complaining. She was so full of drugs. Should have knocked out a horse, and she's walking around. Valium mixed with all these other drugs. Valium alone in a high dose will make you sleepwalk for 10 minutes. It's on Google. They're fake sodium pentothal reports. These people have, first it was Pete's tape, the guy Dave hired on his own, the drug dealer. Then it was Steve and Eric, and where Steve and Eric laughed at everybody they followed for their stunt of drug confessions and photoshopping and washing. Then it's some doctor. I don't care what name you put on it, it's still a human trafficker. Like Officer Mark said, it was a drug cartel. Nobody else drugs anybody. I never seen anyone. I never talked to anyone. I never had even my neighbors in my home. I thought the dirty well water I was showering in was giving me cancer. I was talking to a doctor about it. She said, if that well water would have had E. coli in it, it would have made you that sick. And I said, well, it only had iron in it. Iron won't do that. That's why it was orange-brown. And the only thing new to me is that house. They told people they had true serum. They had sodium pentothal reports. They're date rape amnesia drugs. They even told people no man talked to her. No, we used true serum instead. No, they used date rape drugs. I'd wake up with marks that looked like injection marks and orange and lemon and grapefruit-sized bruises. My neighbor next door to John Thomas, for some god-awful reason, I was out trying to mow lawn and my heart's racing through my neck. I got marks on me. Was probably going to do it before they drug me. And I am collapsing in the front yard. Can I help you? I'm a nurse. I don't know what's wrong with me. Couldn't catch my breath. My heart's racing. He kept offering to mow my lawn. I had money to pay him. He didn't want money. Neighbors don't pay each other. And I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. He made small talk. And I finally let him mow my lawn. Everybody knew what happened. And everybody knew I had orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me. And I was sick and throwing up and almost passing out. And nobody thought of a predator. I asked Danny and Jen on Christmas Eve of 22. I said, did you know anything about that weird Eric that confessed in Walmart on November 13th, 22? All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it for all these people to turn on her. Did you know about that jackass? They're like, no. But if he confessed, he's probably long gone. I said, did you know where they kicked in my door on the 6th day? Yes. Well, it's gone into the wall. Yes. did you know about button cameras? No. I said, did you know about a shower scene in the other room and me washing myself to make me look weird? No. I said, did you remember the orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me? Yes, and I almost passed out in front of the neighbor by the second weekend it kept happening? Yes. Did you know they were drugging me and telling me to say weirdo stuff and beating on me? No, I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. And Danny didn't know, and the twins came out with Grandma. We didn't know. And is that what's going on? And hugged me. All right. The police have their confession. Okay. So does the FBI. On Thanksgiving of 18, Mel's kids in a legally bugged house. They got caught stating they made everything up. They were games of pretend, and they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. They're documented in games of pretend. The police had caught Melissa telling the kids a lie, and the kids stating they were lying on Thanksgiving of 18. Okay, even the Stark County sheriffs have even admitted that they caught those kids lying in uniform. Okay. Then I went up to John on Thanksgiving of 18. What's going on? He's like, I don't know, Mom. I told Melissa, his ex-wife, that you're going to be moving out, going through a divorce. She'll just have the kids make up something, but trust me, no one could say anything bad about you, so don't worry about it. And she'll probably have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody could ever say anything bad about you. It'll just be made up because I told them you're moving out, going through a divorce. I said, well, you shouldn't have said anything till it happened. Well, I did. And since it's just made up and nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. I go to Dave just to clarify everything. I said, Dave, I've never hurt anyone. He said, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, you'd never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. I went to Joshy. I've never done anything bad or wrong. Never said you did. Okay? I went to the twins. I said the same thing. I've never done anything bad or wrong. That's the truth. Always been good to you, yes. Same with Joshy's girls. Okay? That's where those two FBI agents in the Belden office that remind you of Joshy. I thought they were police, but here they're feds. Had a huddle with the police that were working my case in the front of Walmart after Thanksgiving of 18. Why are they having those kids make that shit up? He said, oh, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke very highly of her. They were the same ones around me June 23rd of 21 to July 4th of 21. What are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never hurt anyone. And girls that dated the drug dealers, oh my goodness, the boys had a drugger to make her say that stuff. Nobody mentions those tapes again. Okay, they were the same ones. March 23rd, 23. Walmart 62 came in and screamed at these people. We told these people to stay out of this. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never hurt anyone. No one's ever seen anything. And it's just some lady thought she could make money off of it. You go to jail for it. That's where all those dates, all these crackheads laughing at everybody for falling for the drug confessions and photoshopping and washing. Everything's digital. I was at a client's house one time and they had the news on. And they said, we're tired of people taking words out of sentences, other sentences, taping over it, making people look like they're saying something they didn't, and photoshopping scenes that never happened. I looked at my client, I said, I guess I'm not the only one. She's like, apparently. Everything's digital. That's why Sheriff David, Mike DeWine's cousin, wanted to know if our police were slow. And they all know about date rape, drugs, and roofies, that you're sleepwalking. Under somebody else's control. We've known about those for years. Dear God, they had LSD in the 60s. The hippies would take it and walk around hallucinating. Wide awake. There's so many other drugs, and then prescription drugs in high doses will cause the same effect. They said in the cartel break, they had some doctor working for him. Talked about him a lot. They even said he was relocating people down to Florida for him to run experiments on people. They also said that he was providing them amnesia drugs, where they were saying some doctor taped me before. No doctor ever questioned me of crimes. You go into the doctor, they medical reasons. And see, that's where the drugs and told to say it. They break that doctor, whoever's working for him, he's the one supplying with amnesia drugs. They braked it around in Walmart and stuff in front of the police and vets in 18 and 19 that he was supplying the cartel with amnesia drugs. They braked it in front of the cops and vets. They know all about him. Now, he's not my doctor, like Michelle's boyfriend that was outside on March 27th, 25. They have some doctor that's not even one of hers. Not even one of hers. Working for them, trying to say stuff about her. I never had a doctor in my home. I never even had my neighbors in my home. I thought the dirty well water was killing me. They had me so drugged up there one time that I went to leave and I backed into a tree. What is wrong with me? I can't even see to get around the tree. I had to do insurance thing. Tore up the side of my car, backed right into a tree. I kept thinking, what is wrong with me? Like the investigator said in January of 24, ended December 23, January 24 in Alliance. When the case first started, we found out Karen's ex-husband was keeping her so drugged up there. They were drug beating, raping her, and she wasn't realizing what was happening. Neither did the doctor. Nobody thought of a rapist. And they said it was some judge up there messed up in the drug cartel. And they wanted his drug connections. And to stay out of it, and found out it's just some guy saying he's a judge. I never seen her talk to anybody. These people that make fun of me, they're making fun of me for being a rape victim of the drug cartel. A human trafficking victim they were running a drug scam on, of drug confessions and photoshopping and washing. I never seen her talk to anybody. See, where all the police have told everybody they already know it was a drug cartel because nobody else drugs anybody. And people make fun of me for a drug cartel scam. That's what it is. It's just a drug scam from the cartel. Illegal monitoring is a felony invasion of privacy. It's cyber stalking. See, that's where my friend from the Starr County Prosecutor's Office is a big fraud scheme. They made a biggest mistake. They set up button cameras in your home. It's illegal. The right to privacy. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements and a court order. There's nothing else. See, they want to just run around and tell you where they drugged me up and told me to say stuff, where they photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room. They don't want to tell you that they actually have the phone call of the churches taking up $25,000. And it was Keith Bishop, Stranger and Ron, because Ron wants me to hire 2 men to kill me. They don't want to tell you they have that. They don't want to tell you that they have Dave saying that him and Jack had this plan since March. Because they didn't think I'd give up everything willingly. It was premeditated. And that Dave hired 2 men to kill me for his girlfriend. for them to get everything. Hmm? So that's where any law enforcement acting like stupid, it's a drug cartel scam. Breaking in private homes, setting up button cameras. That's where I talked to a criminal attorney. Dave can't hire Pete on his own or anybody. Nobody can be in your home outside that protected like case with statements. I talked to a Louisville police officer. He started laughing when I was telling him how they're supposed to have drug confessions, and I never seen her talk to anybody, but I did have bruises. I was sick and was almost passing out. And they're supposed to Photoshop washing in the shower in the other room. He's like, I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they say they did. Until that agent agreed to protect you and have statements of threat of life, even the FBI would go to jail for being in your home. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what, but protected like cases with statements. There's nothing else. See, that's where the Portage County Sheriffs, where they were trying to blame them. I went to them. They said, Miss Hall, it was none of our officers in your home. We weren't in your home or anybody else's home outside a protected like case. I said, with statements. He said, yes, that would be illegal. I said, well, you can't look or listen because it's the Fourth Amendment. Yes. He said, it's illegal. Everything these people said they did is illegal. And it was none of us. Dave hired Pete on his own. He hired a drug dealer. According to one of the neighbors, he showed up at a store in Ravenna, screamed out he didn't want his wife anymore, and asked all the people in the store of Ravenna to help get rid of me, and they all agreed to help. And it was the people in the store of Ravenna doing it to her. So drug dealers in a store can actually do this to someone? Choose your words carefully. How stupid people look. The Fourth Amendment in the Constitution, the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person. Your places, your homes, your papers and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. It says your home can't be violated. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause warranted. You have to have a court order. With an oath or affirmation of people, places, or things to be searched or seized. To actually monitor you in your home, because you have a right to remain quiet. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to privacy. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. That's why the drug dealers laugh at everybody, because they scammed them. And that they would be so stupid to fall for a drug scam from drug dealers. That's where that old man in front of the police and the FBI came up, and where I woke up with a lemon-sized bruise on my leg in front of the police and the FBI, that he had drugged me up. For every idle word you telling us, I'll turn it on you. Try to leave Dave, and then he says this dirty word. And he said, you know, that bruise on your leg, I used sodium pentothal on you. No, he stuck me with a Daybreak drug in my sleep. And then something about a wrong night out in Butler. Then threatened me again. I went home and Dave debunked it. I was dressed modestly and they only made fun of the back of my knees. That's where they would show up and laugh. We drugged you and told you to say this, where you had bruises before, you were sick, you were dead. It was us. We were having you beat and raped under drugs so you wouldn't know what happened to you, and laughed at me in front of the police and the FBI. We had drugged you up and told you to say this. We photoshopped all our lies. We raised some guy named Chris out of the room. We photoshopped a feminine wipey above the toilet to make you look worse by January 19th. Okay. By May 25th, 21, Louisville Wendy's, they were talking about the church people breaking in before drugging me, telling me, say where to molest or stuff. I got 2 witnesses in my phone. Right after that, Memorial Day weekend of 21, the heavyset Michelle and Lauren came down on Fairlawn Street and were yelling at the goons from Ravenna. Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession. Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her what to say before. They were admitting it in 18. 9/21, the apartment building informed me second close to the fence, a lady and little girls lived there. They were talking about 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report. Okay, 1295 Fairland, little white lady screamed at him for doing it. Talked to several people in 21. An African American lady, November 1st to 3rd of 21, was she found out they made everything up on me. Was telling people in Save-A-Lot to leave me alone. Then December 9, 21, at the Oakland apartment, they told them all the tapes before were them and not me. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes here. See if someone will stop them. Drugging, beating, raping people in their home. Photoshopping, washing, exploiting them. See if someone will stop them. It's a bunch of criminals. Okay? Same day, white man Paul Watar is distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street. White man Paul Watar okay? There's only 4 or 5 volunteers. He actually worked my case. Came out, we always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. All right. January 1922, Department of Disability, they told them at 11 o'clock in the morning I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, Latino man I've never seen before said he drugged me first and told me to say it before. People ran out of Save-A-Lot because they send their hate running through cell phones. Oh my goodness, they made a drug her and tell her to say it before. They were yelling it on the streets of Canton. People running out of their house. It was like a chaos day. This investigator from Ravenna drives a black Sebring. Followed up and said, I seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. Okay. March 24th, 22, 1:30, they admitted a frame of me. February or March of 22, they told people in Navarre that Pete ordered everything drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. The lady they told even talked to the Canton FBI. Okay. March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, Sam. Their tapes are so far altered. March 13, 21, they told the nurse at Mercy Medical the only thing they had on me was simply wiping off water with clothes on. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, it's funny. She just adjusted herself. He said, that's sick. Said, no, she simply just brushed off the water with clothes on. They didn't have anything else. And then they started saying stuff that never happened. Made my stomach bleed. It's like, what else did you do to me? Then I thought, well, they put my head on somebody else's body. No click and paste. And then I thought, well, what would you be doing? It sounds like you got undressed and got in the shower and you're washing yourself. Even my friend Matt said it sounds like you were washing. Gotta wash yourself sometime. And I said, it's showering. You're washing yourself in the shower. I walked outside to smoke. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them admitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose to make you look weird. November 18th, 22, Walmart 62, one of the wanted stalkers. Eric, one of the drug dealers. They came into Walmart 62, screaming out all the tapes were for me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all those people to turn on her, and they fell for it. Well, if it was only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. That's why I went to Danny and Jen on Christmas Eve of 22. I said, do you know anything about that jackass? They said, no, but if he confessed, he's long gone. I said, do you remember on the 6th day where they kicked my door into the wall? When I was gone, yeah. And I said, did you know about bot cameras stalking me? No. I said, did you know about a shower scene in the other room of me washing myself to make me look weird? And said, no. And I said, did you remember the orange, lemon, and grapefruit sized bruises all over me? And I almost passed out in front of the neighbor. By the second weekend, it kept happening, yes. Did you know they were drugging me and telling me to say weirdo stuff and beating on me? No, I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. We didn't know. Kids came out of the room, Grandma, we didn't know, and hugged me. The Lighthouse Tabernacle in the cartel made fun of FBI agent John, June 7th, 23. That FBI agent John fell for the stunt at Desert for Oh, come on now. That FBI agent fell for that? It was only a stunt. You're kidding. Is that what's going on? FBI agent John fell for the stunt at Desert for They dared the FBI to fix it July 9th, 23, at Trinity Gospel, the cartel. The FBI wouldn't dare fix this after what one of those agents did. Told on a victim calling for help and then turned him back over the cartel. Like the Stark County sheriffs in uniform, we all know they opened an informant case with her. They have us help watch her, and we all know they made fun of that agent John for falling for this. This whole thing's a mess. They sold videos of that church mocking the FBI. Even little kids as small as 5. We've seen a video of them making fun of Will for this. They either call him Will or John. Made a public fool out of him. You know, as a victim, I never seen her talk to anybody. I took her drinking. I would be outside working, I'd be fine. I come in, wash my hands, make something to eat or drink, and I had a 2-liter Diet Coke. Go in and use the bathroom, come out, wash my hands, come out and take a drink in the room and go to St. Black. Hours later, come out of it, what on earth is wrong with me? And my head spinning, throwing up, almost passing out, severely infected. I thought the dirty well water I was showering in was giving me cancer. No memory of anything. Wake up with injection marks. I was covered in bruises, orange, lemon, grapefruit size bruises. Lost 18 pounds before I called the FBI. Never even had my neighbors in my home. Never seen her talk to anybody. To me, this is scary movie crap. Sexual predators preying on somebody in their home. Where can you justify helping out with that? Like I said, I heard somebody outside saying, oh, some doctor has her tape saying da-da-da-da. I never talked to any doctor. They said they have a doctor that was relocating people to Florida to run experiments on them. Did he work for them? The cartel was part of the Florida human traffickers. And they also said there was a doctor given the drug cartel amnesia drugs to use on people. The police and FBI taped them. I never talked to doctors about crimes. That's stupid. They're not criminal investigators. The real law is, it's right on Google, no doctor can tape you without your knowledge or consent. It's illegal. It's HIPAA and then an antitrust law. They go to jail for it. I never talked to a doctor. And so where people, they try to say, oh, some guy named Pete did it to her before, some guy named Steve, some guy named Eric, some doctor did it. I never seen her talk to anybody. I don't care what lipstick you put on that pig. It's still a human trafficker. You put different names on those crimes. It doesn't matter what name you put on it. It was still a human trafficker running a drug scam on me. I never seen her talk to anybody. My whole family defended me. They spoke highly of me. And Mel's kids got caught stating they made everything up. They were games of pretend. Like the Stark County officers in uniform in May of 21. I had left state, went to Pennsylvania. Some of the riffraff were following me, looked at their phone and said, oh my goodness, Kurt found out those kids are lying. He's going to kill her. I'm like, Kurt, slow. They said they were lying on Thanksgiving of 18. Flora ratted about my other granddaughter October 23rd, 2019 to a bunch of adults like they were games of pretend they made up laughing. Melissa's kids. They're documented in games of pretend. I used to go sit outside the sheriff's office because I know some of them work my case. And at times they yell out stuff or come out and say something, so I didn't feel alone. And I came back from my trip and I sat out there. It's like, well, if Kurt just found out those kids are lying, he is slow, isn't he? They walked out and said, boy, if that Kurt just found out those kids are lying, he is slow. Like Mancan and Canton, where they were selling videos of the case. If you didn't hear John's kids right on the third step up, Karen, Dave's girlfriend isn't Shell, it's Michelle. But the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. Go down, look through a huddle, saying crazy crap. That's when I go up and sit by Dixie and the baby. Flora comes running up. They're saying mean things in the basement. She's like, stay out. I go up to John. What's going on? I don't know. He said, I told Melissa you're going to be moving out, going through a divorce. And she'll just have the kids make up something. But nobody could say anything bad about your mom, so don't worry about it. She'll have church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody could ever say anything bad about you. It'll just be made up because of the divorce and that you're going to move out. You shouldn't have said anything till it happened. Well, I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. And he shoots me. There's a video of him saying it. See, then they got Dave defending me that Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, you've never hurt anyone, you're good to everyone, no matter who it is. They have my whole family taped defending me. See, that's where that agent went around. Okay, September 18th, 24, in Akron, an investigator was telling people up there, don't say a word to her. That agent needs to get his facts straight. It was a medication error that made her sick before. Why did they wait 15 years? When Strange thought, I went over and talked to him. When Strange thought she was following Tim and Katie, he ordered her to be killed in '03. And nobody was to say or do a thing until Dave said he wanted a divorce. And then they were to try to have her killed or have her destroyed to make sure she got nothing. And nobody was allowed to say or do anything until Dave said he wanted a divorce, and it took him 15 years to say it. This was planned out in '03. They had 15 years to plan it. See, that's where, I've went over what was wrong with me, how I was sick, how I got well. It's a medication error, medical malpractice. Wrong medicines making my whole body swell up till my legs are popping out of place. Orthopedic doctors draining them. Turkey-based syringes full. I having heart attacks, seizures, thyroid, adrenal gland shut down. I used to vomit in so much pain that blood would run down my legs and stomach. My blood vessels would burst from the pain. I got little red freckles all over me. I have scars from the 6 to 10 surgeries I had. My muscles locked up, went to a bunch of crackpots. Like a doctor said, it's almost like you need dialysis and you're still urinating. Your body cannot keep up with the fluid it's creating. And they were lying so bad, they said I had level 2 brain tumors, epilepsy, all kinds of crazy stuff. The only thing that was wrong with me where I had all those surgeries, my muscles clenched. And before I let them remove part of my brain, I go to all my family physicians. They're like, whoa, we need to have a long talk. Those doctors are known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, making them sick, getting kickback from the drug companies. They share them with their associates and friends that are known for doing this. They drain people's insurance, like it's a checking account they can just drain. You need to get an attorney and sue them and turn them on a state to pull their license. There's nothing wrong with you, but your muscles locked up. And they've caused all this. If I would have sued them, I would have been a millionaire. They encouraged me a day for 2 to 3 years. It's documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. I went to Dr. Eli, and he put me on fentanyl patches and muscle relaxers. The first month, I lost 30 pounds. Second month, I was pulling myself around stores and malls. Got in so much pain that I'm in the hospital. By the beginning of the third month, I could drive my own car. seizure stopped, heart attack stopped, losing weight like crazy. By November 2002, I started with Dr. Eli. By April, I'm almost well. May 3rd, 2003 is when Brian Laney showed up and told us how at the church baseball game on the way there, a lot of people were running late. There was one of the late cars blew through a stop sign into a semi, and he got ripped into pieces, and Tyler got ejected, slammed on to the pavement, and killed instantly. He had to be doing around 100. Didn't even try to stop for that massive impact. Her father killed her kid. Come July, I finished getting well. Anything to do with anything? No, it took me 9 months. Come November 2003, my sister is married to Strangest Kid Tim, and she had, for over a year, she had found out that he was cheating on her with some girl named Katie. And she'd go out and follow him around. She didn't have enough courage to confront him. Well, she came up to me on a Wednesday night. I was following him again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry. Be careful. By Sunday, he took Danny, pushed him to suicide, and it's documented in 03 and 04 that Strange pushed Danny to suicide and made up that lie of faking you were sick. He had to get rid of me real quick. He thought I caught his son in adultery. And they are the real religious group. Danny told the Crisis Center, Stark County social worker, Child and Adolescent Center, Georgine Vovoso and Linda, and a Child and Adolescent Center psychiatrist for Stark County, that Strange took him that day, starved him all day, screamed at him on the pulpit till he did what he was told. And that's why he tried to kill himself. Tried to kill himself 2 times the next day. Took my kids, went to my sister's, and then Josh wouldn't stay there and had the keys to the car and threatened to come back by himself, and I wouldn't let him come back by himself. And when I got back, I took him to the Crisis Center, which then got us with the Child and Adolescent Center, and Danny told them all. They found the county records where Strange pushed Danny to suicide in 03 and 04. They started nailing my mom's tires. She, with 3-inch nails, sharp objects, and she moved to Illinois in 03, before Christmas 03. All because Linda was following Tim and Katie. This whole thing is about it. The Vegas just used their family tragedy to help that church get away with murder. They were scamming that agent. You got to think how stupid they look. Her father committed vehicular homicide. He killed their kid in May, and I had nothing to do with that. And Strange called me a faker 6 months later, had nothing to do with her father murdering her kid. He'd still be in jail if he was alive. Just like the girl in Cleveland going 100 miles an hour, and the other 2 kids died. She's in jail for 15 to life. His reckless actions killed their kid. I wasn't even there. And Strange making up a pathetic lie on me had nothing to do with them, and them telling people it offended him. Can't offend him. It had nothing to do with them. But they have like an occult following that people will kill and destroy for them. So they use their tragedy to manipulate people. You can't even feel sorry for him. Her father killed her kid. Like they said in 03, when it first happened, they'll have to learn to live with the shame of her father murdering her son. Now, you gotta think, when you go into the doctor's office, does your doctor tell you, I need you to confess to any federal crimes you've done or any crimes? They don't even ask you. That's not what you're there for. You're there for medical. I have never, ever talked to a doctor about any crimes. Ever. It's a drug scam from the drug cartel. That doctor works for the cartel. If the investigators actually talk to Officer Mark and John, they'll say he does. That's where Officer Mark I've never talked to him. I never talked to anyone. People, when they yell out stuff, they have her tape saying this or that. It's drugged and told to say it. I was up in Akron in August of 24. Some lady said, I heard they're supposed to have her saying this. It's the same crap that guy was yelling outside. The lady's shushing her. They drugged her and told her to say it before. Nobody's allowed to say a word. They already confessed years ago. They were supposed to drug me and told me to say all kinds of crazy crap. From weirdo stuff to flasher stuff to you hurt people. I never seen her talk to anybody. I used to run for the bathroom and vomit to find out people were playing with me like that. And I've had a hard time dealing with, after March 27th, 25, Michelle's boyfriend that broke up with her found out she was part of the attempted murder on 12/21/18, where I'm stabbed in the neck, bashed in the back of the head. I still have the size of a ball peen hammer. The nurse said it's pushed in far enough, it should have killed me. And they were trying to either kill me or leave me brain damaged to list me incompetent. All right. And he broke up with her. And then he's saying that how Dave was telling people that he was made to marry me. Ask that church. Nobody in that church made him to marry me. And to find out one of his girlfriends before told him to marry me so she could have free insurance. And that he could give her extra money. My whole marriage of 33 years was a scam. That's why he was willing to threaten to kill all my children. Because we were just a scam to him. That's why he was willing to let men drug beat and rape me under drugs, human traffic me, because I was just something he scammed for 33 years. I was nothing to him. Where I loved him and I cared for him, I was just something he was scamming to get a good job. For him and that lady that was using my insurance, my brother knew of some heavyset white brown woman showing up at the factory. Okay. There was rumors of him cheating. I kept telling him to get me proof. That's 1985. Okay, 1986. We didn't have cell phones back then. Worked in a hot rubber factory. You couldn't carry a camera around with you. I'm like, just get me some kind of proof. I'll leave him. He's saying everybody's just trying to break us up. And my dad started the insurance right away. Well, I started getting all these weird medical bills. I even argued with Altman Hospital. They called me once and said, we want to talk about your stay here. And I said, I haven't stayed in your hospital in years. You see Dr. So-and-so. I never heard of him. And I'm telling about this lady using my insurance, running up all kinds of bills. Well, you said that we sat and talked, don't you remember? I said, ma'am, I've never met you. And said, well, you said you have 2 little girls. I have 3 little boys. I told you some other woman, your insurance is this. Yes, hung up on me. Dave would get his wages attached. And they threatened if he didn't pay those copays, they put him in jail. And he said, Karen, some ladies committed identity fraud. And they'll put me in jail if we don't pay it. And I would never cheat on you. I'm always at work. Well, he wasn't working all that overtime. And he was going out with her. I was scammed. I was 18 and stupid. And looking at it, how much he fooled everyone. That's why he was willing to kill all of us. Because we were just something he scammed to get a job. That's why he was willing to beat on me. And then let other men rape me. Because I meant nothing to him. I was just something he scammed. And I mean, we got medical bills from doctors I've never seen. She stayed in hospital. She had to have procedures. Officer Mark documented that half my medical bills belonged to some other lady. I even had to shut down my credit because I started finding things on my credit that wasn't mine over the years. I mean, this lady went hairy-carry, had procedures, seen doctors, got my prescription. These people are nuts. And like a guy said, one of the investigators working my case realized Dave and that church was setting me up the whole time, letting that girl use my insurance. Oh, I know that. But this whole thing of them saying, oh, she was found insane before, insanity is not curable. It's not curable. You have to be in a state hospital. I deal with this situation at work, okay, and people that had to go through it. You have to be in a state hospital. You have to have a court hearing. A judge has to rule you insane. You have a right to an attorney and you have a right to your own doctor. We have rights. We live in the United States. They give you a guardian, a social worker, and put you on disability. Okay? I was never in a state hospital. I never had a competency hearing, and I'm not on disability. I don't have a guardian. I don't have a social worker. They just lied. So wherever Dr. Dave's girlfriend seen, I don't care. She still never stayed in a hospital. State hospital. You know why? They never notified me. And insanity is not curable. Neither is mental illness. It's right on Google. You can't say somebody has something like that and their brain's damaged and the person's perfectly fine. See, that's where Michelle's boyfriend said I didn't find it funny when I found out that the kind of job she used to have. I used to be a retail banker. I used to be a teller. I used to be a loan processor. I even took care of a store for a loan company while district was stepping down. And it prospered. It was one of the busiest stores. Before they hit me in the back of the head, I was even smarter. I was one of the real fast learners. I stutter now from the head injury. And if you want to, yeah, so where you guys weren't around, like that guy said outside yesterday, that church is hiring people to harass me.